Hi, this is Scott from the Rival Sons, and you're watching the Guitar Mania channel. It's crazy!
Hi, this is Chris from Rival Sons, guitar tech for Scott Holiday. You're watching Guitar Mania channel.
How much do you actually play the guitar while you're on tour? I mean, besides being on the stage?
That is mostly how much I play the guitar. Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of acoustic stuff. Sometimes I'll warm up before certain shows, sound check, going over certain songs. If we're going to bring something new in, I'll go over it. We sit down and go over it. But other than that, man, I'm playing every single night for 2 hours on stage and a check, and that's about it. The rest of the time I'm sleeping or eating or talking to nice people like you.
It's a very relentless schedule that you have. I mean, it's travel time, you have this time on the stage, and then you're meeting people, doing interviews and stuff, so presumably you're pretty flat out while you're on tour.
It's busy, yeah, and also if we have any free time, I probably am not playing guitar. If I'm in a beautiful city like Vienna and I have time, I want to go to the city. I want to go see the Belvedere. I want to go. It's wonderful. Yesterday I walked all over Prague, and it's one of my favorite cities. So if I have this much free time, I'm going to try to at least see a little bit of these countries I'm going to. Doing 20 countries inside of 2 months or whatever, I've got to see a little bit.
Right, so we come in from this board over here, Trailer Trash Boards. We've got a pair of them. Coming to the Custom Audio Electronics wah by Dunlop. Great sounding wah. It's got the dual phasals. It's got the boost switch, which we also have in, a little bit of boost. The Keeley Nova gives the toe down wah kind of sound, a little bit of a nasal honk, so we have that set up. Keeley Time Machine Boost, got one of those. Another great sounding pedal Keeley. ZVEX Fuzz Probe. Pretty unruly sounding pedal. Use that a couple times during the show. The Micropog Electro Harmonics. Again, this pretty specific effect. Use that one a good few times. This one here has baby unicorns and ninjas in it. It's the Zap pedal. I've never actually seen the inside of it, nor am I allowed to see the inside of it. There's special things in here nobody needs to know about. Basic Audio Gnarly Fuzz, one of the main fuzzes that Scott's using. Great sounding pedal. The Way Huge Ringworm. Again, it's got a couple, strange sounds to it used during the show. The Orange Controller is basically a AV box for controlling the dirty to the clean amps. A KR Mega Vibe with an expression pedal. Use that a lot during the show. Relies pretty heavily on the Mega Vibe. Coming out of this board, straight into this board, we've got a Dunlop volume pedal. Pretty standard fare, it's sturdy. It lasts forever, never had a problem with it. Peterson Classic Stomp. Great tuner. I've got one, Scott's got one. Pretty bomb-proof. The Strymon Flint, use that for a lot of the tremolo and reverb settings. Manifest Destiny, we have the favorite switch set up, so the Manifest sound is pretty much in that box. Demeter Tremulator, again, pretty standard trem. It's solid. It hasn't given us any trouble yet. Option 5 Destination Rotation. It's another roto sim pedal. Sounds great. Rely on that one a lot again. The Line 6 DL4 has been Keeley modded, so it basically has a self-oscillation setting that Scott's using a lot for a lot of the runaway stuff, as well as a bit of the slat back, also controlled by a Dunlop controller pedal that's been modded. And the Way Huge Aquapus, which is the analog delay pedal, pretty much the go-to. It's got the standard Bucket Brigade stuff in it, like the old DM2, DM3 Boss. Sounds really great. Really, really tough pedal.
Look, we had a chance to look at your equipment a bit downstairs, and we were wondering, particularly having a look at your pedalboard. You have lots of stuff on there, and Chris told us that you basically you take full responsibility for what's on the pedalboard. Can you talk a bit about how that works and how you set it up?
I've geeked out on this kind of a thing for a long time, and I've had, you know, about 1,000 pedals probably just sitting at home in my studio that I've used, that I've gotten, that I've been given, that I need to try still, on and on and on. But this original board, I had built a reasonable sized board before the band even, and I had a couple things that I really liked on it, and then a couple things I really used. Well, then I started writing with that board for this band, and I started using all of it. And then I made another record, and I would always include a couple of new toys on the record, maybe a new delay or a new fuzz sound or something. So I'm like adding this. Then I made another record. I'm adding a couple little new sounds for the record, and I'm like very honestly trying to recreate that live for the fan and for myself.
That was my next question. I mean, how do you recreate the sounds that you did?
This is how we do it with this, you know, space station. I just kind of end up adding a few things. Obviously, I'm sure people probably imagine me turning every single one on at once, and this is my magical sound. It couldn't be further from the truth. It's really just the guitar, and then the little additives for each song that happen. You know, a fuzz, a delay, you know, a dedicated reverb, a couple tremolos with different speeds. It's actually very logical. As a Capricorn and a very logical person, it makes a lot of sense what's happening here.
Let's talk a bit about your tremolo sounds. I mean, they're great, they're fantastic. What are your go-to pedals there?
I have two pedals that I do tremolo with. I first acquired the Demeter Tremulator, and I've used that for slow tremolo. It's really good. It was originally made for Rycooter to emulate the Fender, that soft reverb sound. It's a really good pedal, and I've used that in the old days for slower. Now it's for something a little quicker. The other one I'm using is the Strymon Flint, and that actually has my reverb and the tremolo setting, and that's like for slower tremolos. I use the favorite box with that too, so I have it dedicated for something like Manifest Destiny. It's like a dedicated tremolo sound, so I'm able to save that sound, so it's always the same, which is very important because that song is based around this pulsing tempo. So this favorite pedal on the Strymon Flint allows me to have that.
All right. And your fuzz sounds are obviously your trademark, or one of your trademarks. Well, how do you go about setting them up? And which pedals do you use there?
On the board I have a couple things. The main one I use is a reboxed fuzz pedal that I call Zap. And we'll just leave it mysterious unless Diamond's already gave the secret away.
Oh, he didn't?
Yeah, so it's a rehouse fuzz pedal. It's got a little octave kind of thing it does in there, but it's subtle. It's more like a 60s kind of very loud, aggressing fuzz. I haven't found anything like this, so I have to just keep using that one. I'm sure you've heard these stories. Fuzz pedals especially, because they're different matched or unmatched transistors. It's really hard to find repetitive ones. This one might be considered broken to some people. To me, it's integral. But I also use for other texture ZVEX Fuzz Probe. And it's not a total fuzz, but I use the Keeley Time Machine boost. So on the treble boost side, it's like an old Rangemaster, which kind of does a fuzz thing.
And presumably, I mean, new gear would also be a new inspiration for you and trigger ideas.
Sure.
Would that be the case? Or?
Sure. Yeah. Always trying new things and having fun. And now in the studio or even at home, if I'm having fun, I'll usually just set that board up and then put things in front of it or at the end of the pedal board. I have things I'm always grabbing and trying just to. People ask me to try them. They send me home with a box of stuff. I go home and I'm like, well. This gives me something to do. I'm going to wake up and have my coffee and start plugging in pedals.
Excellent. Well, there are worse things in life, I guess.
It's actually, this is the joy of life. A little peanut butter toast, a little Earl Grey tea. I'm in my studio. I can record. Got all my guitars set up. This like sounds warm and fuzzy. It's making me be sad about being on the road right now, man.
So this is our newest guitar, which is a Doug Cower special model. We call it Ike. It's based on a lot of Gretschy goodness. It's got a lot of Gretsch parts. It's got the Powertron and Powertron Plus pickups, a of course, looks like a bird of sorts. Very nice guitar. It's our newest one of the bunch. Cower sent this to us in 6 days. It's a 6-day guitar. This is our second newest guitar, which is also a nice Cower Banshee.
Yep.
Has the same TV Jones pickups in it. Very, very nice guitar. Probably one of Scott's favorites, alongside the green one. When Doug was building these, he did a couple changes from the original model. A little bit of a difference in the body to alleviate some of the neck dive that the other manufacturers had a problem with. And he also fixed that up a little bit so it's a little thicker and a little more beefy, so when we're traveling we don't have a lot of necks popping off. Very, very nice guitar.
It's very well balanced now.
Very, very well balanced. Yes. This is a late 90s Gibson vintage historic reissue. It's a nice guitar for what it is. It's one of Scott's main ones from some of the older albums. Nice guitar. It's tuned down half step.
And that's actually the guitar that features on...
It's in the Pressure in Time video.
Yeah.
This one, yeah. It's a nice guitar. Very heavy. Hard on the shoulders. This is our other half step down guitar, which is a Gibson non-reverse 65, I believe. It's got Klein pickups in it, new pick guards. We don't use the trem on it, so we keep the bar flip back. Very light guitar, very woody, very resonant. Breaks it out a few special times during the show, and beautiful, beautiful sounding guitar.
Yeah, I can flip it around. That's actually the first time I understood whatever.
Yeah, so they call
reverse headstock comes
they
from.
call this one the non-reverse, because if you reversed it, of course, it would look like a Firebird would usually look. This is another beautiful Cower we call Goldie. Some nice gold metallic paint with the nice hand pinstriping on it. This one has the Kleins as well. This is one of our Open G guitars. Sounds very nice, and again, very responsive, very woody, beautiful, beautiful sounding guitar. And again, it's another Cower model.
Open G, does he play slide guitar as well?
He does. He plays.
Is that the slide guitar?
He plays slide on pretty much all of his guitars, and 2 of them we specifically have set for Open G, and this is one of them. One of the main Open G guitars. It's a 63 Jazzmaster slab board. It's the oldest guitar that Scott owns. Probably one of the most beat up. Sounds beautiful. It's a very, very forgiving guitar with tuning because of the scale.
Yeah.
Really nice guitar. It's got the P90s in it, or Lawlers. They're switched out. It sounds great. It's a beautiful, beautiful guitar. We use it pretty religiously for Open G stuff. Probably the main Open G guitar.
Where do you get your inspiration from? I mean, are you still like learning stuff? Are you seeking to still to improve yourself as a player, or is it more that you're more looking composing and how could riffs fit into a composition and a new song?
I think all that. And anyone who's doing music professionally that isn't trying to do all that, they're doing it wrong. You know, it just seems like why wouldn't you try to become a better player? Why wouldn't you try to become better at composition? Why wouldn't you all of this all at once? You know, it's what we do. It's my only job, so naturally I'm going to focus, and I'm able to focus on all of it. I'm not a astounding theory person, but I'm constantly researching my favorite players and all sorts of different styles, and really inside of in that, not even looking at guitar players a lot, just listening to melody and listening to horn players, listening to rhythmic ideas, and trying to come up with different things on the instrument.
That's an interesting point, actually. Rhythmic ideas and horn players. Can we go a bit further into detail there?
Well, sure. I mean, historically, you've had a lot of guitar players look at guys like Coltrane, or even for me, I listened to a lot of Miles. Texturally, he was even using the wah pedal with his horn and kind of figuring out some of his phrasing and some of his, the theory he was kind of working around in composition. Long notes, longer melodic ideas that aren't like quick riffed. They're longer, stretched out ideas, but texturally, this is a big thing for me too. I'm trying to understand some of these bends, some of these horn bends, and kind of getting that for the guitar.
Yeah, I mean, that raises also the question, I mean, the guitar being a sort of more percussive sort of instrument,
sure.
How can you sustain the sustain? I mean...
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's what we're doing. I mean, you'll stay for the show tonight. I'm sure you'll get a sense of that. This is definitely an idea for me that it's not, the guitar should not be limited to guitar players studying guitar players. We shouldn't be hearing music as music. You should hear birds out the window and want to do that. You know what I mean? You should hear, you know, water dripping and be thinking, get, like this. Like you should hear the rhythm in life, you know, hear the rhythm in nature, hear the rhythm in these different instruments, hear the rhythm in the city. And this probably sounds romantic. It can sound a little pie in the sky to people, but I think all the guys in my band, I'm certainly that way. I think we're all that way. You start just hearing rhythms and melodies everywhere, and when you can translate that into a popular music, you're actually accomplishing something.
This is
fascinating.
a slide that Scott uses. He has many of these. They're called jet slides by a guy named Gary Romero in Colorado. Basically, Scott wears that the whole show, just like a ring. It allows him to play regular, you know, regular style guitar, and then when he feels like playing slide, throws his finger around, plays a bit of slide, and then back into regular chording, whatever he needs. So it's very, very versatile for sliding and otherwise.
What do you do to create a special atmosphere for recording and to capture magic?
You know, there's been times where it's been really dungeony, where we're not trying to like make it too comfortable. This is something Dave Cobb did. You know, we go backstage, and it's I mean, backstage we'll go back to our like the green, you know, like the hangout room, and it's not comfortable. It's a little cold. It's not fancy. It's not nice. We're uncomfortable. This is what he said. I don't want you to be comfortable. I want you to be like you're working. Get back in the room and work, and like work there. Don't you come here to like order out food and sit your, you know, get on your ass and like, you know, get cozy and get on your phone and play video games. That's not what it's about. When we're in there making a record, we're in there making music. So it's not about comfort. It's about getting comfortable with each other, getting comfortable on tape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that. I think though at the same time, we've had studios with David and been in situations that are, you know, they're very old school, simple, tight areas, and the comfort really just comes from the music. Still, that's what it is. You make good music, that room feels good. Good recording will make a shitty feeling room feel real good, real quick. Put it that way.
Would it be correct to say that you guys are actively seeking also to get out of the comfort zone to create music?
Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying at the beginning of our conversation.
Yeah.
To put back ourselves into a corner, you know, it's like chasing a wild animal into a corner with a stick. Now the only thing they can do, you can't go right or left. You have to react very quickly and make something different happen to the music. It makes something different happen to your what you play. You don't play these comfortable lines, maybe, you know, or maybe you do, and they sound extraordinarily comfortable because even when you're backed into a corner, you've got this certain finesse that comes out. But a lot of times you've got very sporadic, instinctual moves that happen inside that music. And, it's important.
How much room for spontaneity do you leave when you're playing live?
A lot. Yeah. I mean, we obviously have our songs, and there's certain songs that we'll play pretty close to a T, and there's certain, maybe a few, good, maybe even half the set that will open up and change on a nightly basis that we won't.
That's a lot, really.
Yeah, and we won't speak about it. We won't say, all right, yeah, tonight let's do let's do like a 1-4-5 in that section, or, you know, let's just go like 1-4-1-4. Let's just, you know, let's like vamp on this like D minor thing. We just won't talk about it. And quite often we'll try to throw each other curveballs, where if I hear Miley doing something, if I hear him doing like, you know, I'll go like, he has to change what he's doing, so we're trying to like move to bend the wheel a little bit, or like, you know, turn that a little bit on its side, so it's forcing him to change, and then he'll change, it forces me to change. Same with Dave, same with Jay, and we're constantly molding it this way that it's not just like rolling the ball straight to each other. It takes some more molding and some more moving, and it keeps us on our toes the same way. It makes me play something different nightly. I'm appreciative of it because it makes me a better player, and it makes me react and makes me more in touch with what I really am.
I guess that's also what the attraction of the rival sounds, the experience of a live performance or of a concert is all about, because it's not the same. It's different every night, and which also raises the question: have you guys ever thought of doing a live record?
We get asked all the time. Yeah, since the beginning of the band, and we record quite often, but it's really hard to want to solidify that yet and really find that perfect show. So it's like the perfect moment of getting the right recordings, the right performances, with the right consistency, with the right crowd, the right symbiotism, the right room, and the right everything. You know, that's how I feel. It's kind of precious. Otherwise, you got all these people, they have all their experiences all over the world nightly. It's when are we going to take one of them and make that something for the person who's never been to a Rival Sons show to taste? You know what I mean? So it's very particular. We did do something. I produced something that we did in Sweden, and Gothenburg, Sweden, and it came out on Palladia. It's a big music channel. I don't know if we have it out here, but it's like MTV, but it's all live shows. So I worked on a Gothenburg show that we did, and narrowed down a 2-hour show to 1 hour, and that came out. And a lot of those tracks have been out on vinyl and as bonus tracks, I think, from that show.
These are our amps. We run a pair, again, off the switching box off the pedalboard. OR50. This one in specific is set up for our dirty sounds. This one is set up for our clean sounds. They're a really punchy, percussive pedal. The gain's different than anything else. It's, you know, it's not Marshall-y. It's its own thing. It's a really, really good sounding amp. We have a pair of them here, and they're controlled by this one, which is an OR50 shell turned into a switching head. So this has all our gizmos built into it by our front of house guy, Neil McDonald's. A really good switching head, handles all the switching for, you know, the clean and dirty head, and these things are pretty much flawless. Every night, never an issue. Love the orange stuff.
Scott, last question. If you were to give one piece of advice to young aspiring musicians who want really to make a living out of making music, what would that be?
Do it because you love it. Don't do it because you think you're going to get real famous and rich from it. In this business, we're seeing a decline in the financial side, like more than ever. Drastic decline in how to make money. You're going to have to figure out new ways how to do it, and you will if you love it. It's okay. Everyone wants music. Everyone was going to continue to want it. That's never going to end. And there'll always be a new way to find out how you can make a living from it. People want you to make a living from it if you love it, but that's why you do it. But in this business, mostly we do a thing called eat crow. And that means you make a lot of sacrifice without a lot of gain. And this band certainly has done that, and we still do it to this day. It's not as glamorous as it looks maybe to everybody else. And if you do it because you love it, then when you do have a little bit of success, your priorities will be in order, and you'll be really grateful to those fans and grateful for that laurel that you've rested on. And you do it with your heart. And honest music, because it's done with love, it translates. That's what speaks to people's hearts. That's what speaks to our ears. So it makes us want to feel good and wants to make us want to invest in something. So that's what I tell people. Do it because you love it, and do it really hard. Get ready for a lot of sacrifice, eat a lot of crow, realize that that's what you were meant to do, if that's what it is, and keep doing it. And people will come to you.